Yeah.
right? And you guys have exploded into the American market. You guys have worked with everybody, like everybody. Like it's even hard to list the names of people that you've worked with because it's you just have to say everybody. So,
Right. Right.
who was
No,
your
it's true.
favorite person to work with?
Whew.
Who's your favorite person to work with?
It's definitely a handful, but I mean, it, yeah, I mean, obviously it's definitely like one of my best friends, Reef the Lost Cause, for example.
Not to
You
me.
had him on the show already.
I love I love your favorite MC.
He's
I love
like
that record.
he's like a superhuman. Like he's definitely one of the best guys, man. And whenever we do music, it's just fun and. But I don't want to exclude anybody. It's like this goes pretty much the same for like Sean Strange, and then also for Onyx. It's like it has been the last years. Recently, I would say it has changed a lot with like Onyx. We became really close, and
Very close.
sometimes to me even that's still mind blowing. Like I see myself as a kid, man, like standing in front of the TV, like jumping to Yo MTV Raps when Slam was coming on and shit, was slam dancing in front of the TV, and now I'm like basically friends with the guys, we on the phone all the time, and and whenever they tour in Europe, I'm DJing, and it's like it's kind of almost like I'm 50% into the group, kind of, like not taking too many credits or whatever, but yeah, and it's just different, and seeing these legends like doing their work, man, like that goes also back to what we said earlier, like you letting your life experience going into the making music, right? Because when we did the first Onyx album, like it was mainly obviously over the internet, because at the time, we just get to know each other, and we were sending beats, and there was recording joints, and then we worked on a couple joints, but we was never actually in a studio session together doing the joints. But then by the time doing the second album, the Snowmads album, it was way different, because one of the joints, the Kill the Mic joint, for example, is actually a joint that was created live during the show. Because like I remember I was playing on the way to the venue, or it must have been to the way on the way to the show. I played that beat from Kill the Mic, and Fredro loved it. He's like, yo, like play that beat tonight at the show. I was like, okay. So during the show, he was like, yo, put out that beat. So I dropped the beat for Kill the Mic, and they was literally like freestyling to the beat, like they doing these chants, right? And just trying out things and shit. And he was just like, yo, I love this beat, blah, blah, blah. So, and then we continued the show, and I wasn't even thinking about it much. But apparently, somebody obviously recorded the song and put it up like on whatever, like Instagram or whatever, and he tagged Fredro. So Fredro got back to the recording that he did, and he must have been write down the lyrics. Like a couple days later, we went into the studio, and he took a lot of parts from what he did live into the song, basically, and we recorded the song for real.
That's cool.
So, and yeah, it was amazing for me to see, like, oh shit, like, we created a song live on stage, basically.
Right.
And it was a different progress on the second album, because we was recording most of the songs while we was on the road, going into studios here in Europe, and then they just finished it up once they was back. So that's why I was saying, like, with Onyx, it's also different, man. Like seeing their talent, man. Like they take such a minimal beat. If you hear the instrumental, it's just a loop and the drums, and really short, and you're like, okay, it's cool, it has a drive, but nothing really happens. But then once they lay their vocals and they come in with their hooks and everything, then you're like, oh shit, this is a banger, like. And for Onyx, for the most parts, they have like very simplicity hooks, man. Like it's one or two lines, and they repeat sometimes for like 8 bars, kind of, and I'm always, when I hear it the first time, I'm like, oh man, it's very simple, but it's catchy too in a way. So seeing that how they do it, that makes me always like, yo, these guys are geniuses, like really doing songs that are catchy and being super simple, and still like having that Onyx touch, like being aggressive and straight in your face and all of that, like. And then also on top, man, that's what I have to give up for Onyx, man, why I love them so much. Once you hear a Onyx solo album per se, like Fredro Starr or Sticky Fingers, it's something totally different than from Onyx.
Yeah, it is.
If you listen to any of their albums, you can't compare it to the Onyx sound.
Yep.
And I'm not sure if they do it on purpose or if that's just them individual and then once they coming together, they become Onyx, you know. So that's very phenomenal to see, you know, and like experience it firsthand, being in the studio with them doing songs is definitely like one of my highlights, and that's what I'm saying. Like these guys, being with them in the studio is definitely always a pleasure and super dope to see and be a part of.